For the vertical lookup function, we must have a reference table. VLOOKUP is designed to work with tables. Tables could be of different designs. In this particular exercise, we're going to use a really simple table which has 2 columns and only 5 values in each column. Okay, here you're told to use VLOOKUP. You don't even have to think about it. So we need to grade each student with a letter grade. We need to assign letter grade. We already have numerical scores. You are already familiar with the ways of starting this. There's only one way actually. Punch in equals. Start typing VLOOKUP, and Excel already knows what you want. Okay. Now, the prompts here once again are designed to remind people of the most complex lookup table possible. It's not what we're going to do. We'll start with the simplest one. Okay. The lookup value is what we want to turn into a letter grade. I need to emphasize again that you should not type in any values. We must have a cell address here because we're trying to program one cell and then copy to any number of cells without having to do this any more than once. If, as many do, if you do start typing in these values, none of the productivity features of Excel will be available to you. You will have to program everything manually, which defeats the purpose of this project. So we're going to start with the very first one, correct? So right here, lookup value is in cell E8. We got it. As you can see, we have to have a comma now. We have to separate this from the table array on which we're going to work next. Okay, comma. Okay, now we have to scroll down, and you've got to make sure you really hit the scroll bar. If you strike one of these cells, you'll have to start all over again. So be sure to be careful here. Okay. All right, we got our table here. Excel knows to show it as a range. One moment here is that we do not want for these coordinates, for these cell addresses to change as we use our productivity feature, which is the handle with which we'll copy this function to other cells. But for now, let's just put a comma there. Okay, commas are absolutely necessary. Okay, and the letter grade here is in column 2. Just like in everything else, we're moving from left to right. What we need is on the right, it's 1, 2, so it's going to be column 2. Then we close, always close parentheses. Okay. So obviously 92 is an A. Now, if we start moving this in the typical way with a handle without doing anything else, watch what happens. Okay. Non-applicable condition. Obviously all this has moved, and Excel is giving us what we do not want. So this has to go. This is the moment to explain the absolute coordinates. In Excel terminology, absolute means not changing. Okay, so you can assign absolute value to only half of the address. Okay, for example, and by the way, this is done with the $sign. You have to hit Control and then 4, which is also the $sign, right? Okay, so Okay, I was pressing Control instead of Shift. When we put the $sign in front of half of the address, the column will not change, but the cell itself will. Right now we don't want any of this to change. We're going to fix it at A26, which is the upper left corner of the table. And we're going to end at B30, which is the lower right corner. Now we're going to copy what we have programmed in one cell and copy it to the other ones, and we now have what we wanted. A's are A's, and C's are C's, and B's are B's, and D's are D's, just like the table prescribes.